Hello everyone, the name is Erik Thor, and in today's video we're talking about INFPs and execution. A lot of INFPs are highly effective. I've met INFPs that work really hard, that have, a full-time job, kids, all those things, that everyone else has, and that are able to keep up with all of those things without an issue. But I also met a lot of INFPs that struggle with apathy, lack of motivation, and a lack of inability to do basically anything, right? Even getting out of bed is hard. Even, dealing with the normal chores that you feel should take you like 5 minutes, even that's difficult, right? And so as an INFP, we talk about how to motivate yourself to manage executive struggles and how to, get yourself into a doing state and how to manage the extroverted thinking aspect of, putting yourself into something, applying yourself somehow, and getting the work done. And now the first advice that I'm going to give is going to be a bit surprising. The first advice I'm going to give you is allow yourself to engage in mindful rest. Now, you might not think you need this because you've already been slouching for such a long time. You're already behind, you already have things to do, you already are busy, you're already stressed, So you need to just get out of your bed and get it done, right? But I like to say, if you're honest with yourself and if you think about your situation today, like how much are you actually going to get done? Like how much work do you actually have in you? How much energy do you actually hold within yourself to put into a certain task? And if the answer is, honestly, not a lot. Honestly, I probably am just going to order Uber Eats tonight and, stay at home and, not leave the door, That's also fine. And if you can learn to surrender to a certain state like that and engage in mindful and unashamed self-frivolousness, that's going to be completely okay. And the truth is, humans often have in their head that they have to constantly be doing things, right? But if you look at, for example, lions spend most of the time laying on the savannah doing absolutely nothing. Just like cats like to just lay on bed and do absolutely nothing. You're allowed to be idle. And being idle is not a bad thing. The problem is if you're idle but stressed, and if you're in this, because a lot of INFPs, they get into this state where they're doing nothing, but they're getting stressed to hell about it, right? So they're doing nothing, but they're being upset with themselves, annoyed. They're like, why am I doing this? Why am I, They're in the stress-fueled state, and so they're getting tired because, of course, if you're constantly berating yourself for not doing things, and if you're constantly engaging your extroverted thinking, even in an idle state, you're going to get exhausted. And the next day you're going to wake up, you're going to have the exact same problem, right? So here what we're doing is we're utilizing the pendulum effect. And what is going to happen if you can allow yourself a moment of mindful rest, and if you can learn to start here, you're going to find that you're going to have a lot more energy and you're going to be a lot more recharged, because INFPs start the other way around, ENFJs and ENTJs, they tend to show a high level of emotional regulation strategies and compartmentalization, which means it's very easy for an ENTJ to, even if they're absolutely exhausted, say, I'm going to go and get the work done and I'm going to rest later, right? Perhaps that later never comes, but they're going to, steel themselves and push through it. And, even if they struggle with all kinds of emotional turmoil inside, on the outside, they're not going to show anything. They're going to look completely cool. And so INFPs, often you start the other way around. You start in this idle state of daydreaming, reflection, and just carefree and spontaneous, relaxation. And, when an INFP is able to harness this state, they are going to be recharging energy. And so that energy is energy that you can put into getting things done. And now here's a secret, INFPs. INFPs can extrovert too, right? A lot of the time, people focus on the fact that INFPs are introverted and they recharge by being by themselves. But when you recharge energy, once you recharged your energy, once your battery is full, once you've given yourself that time to rest and relax and get connected with yourself again, you have to expand that energy to really feel it, right? Because imagine you're well rested, but you do nothing with that energy. You're not going to feel anything, right? So what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of energy inside you. But if you're not putting it into something, what's going to happen is you're not going to feel it, right? So for us to actually feel and access energy, we have to expend it. So we have to recharge energy, build up energy, and then we have to learn to expend it through our extroverted functions. And so that's the pendulum effect. What you're learning to do is you're learning first to honor your alone time and ability to recharge, and then to use your extroverted functions to expand and use up that energy. And that's the cycle, because once you've used up that energy, you can go back inside and recharge and regenerate, and then you can go out and do something fun with that, right? And so that can translate into a more enormous amount of power, right? Because arguably an INFP can do just as much work as an ENTJ or an ESTJ can do. And the reason for this is sustainable energy, right? Because I told you ESTJs extremely good at compartmentalization and managing their own emotions, right? But to a point. The truth is, ESTJs, they end up doing a lot of unnecessary labor and ineffective labor. So they push themselves to work or stay over time, but arguably, if you look at the quality of their work, it's not always that great. INFPs, they put in, once they've learned to manage their energy and respect their own boundaries, they can put in just as much as an ESTJ can, if not more. And so what you're going to see is, while ESTJs and ENTJs, they have to kind of learn to scale down and, work less hours and to focus and learn to recognize the importance of quality and the value of the labor you put in, not just the amount of hours you log or, how often you push a button, right? Just like that, INFPs have to find ways to scale up and find ways to expend energy that works for them, right? And so what you're gonna have to think about as an INFP is, what are my buttons, right? Because everyone has buttons. Buttons are, things you press to motivate yourself, right? So imagine somebody says, if you don't do the work, you're not gonna get paid, right? It's not gonna be motivating for you as an INFP, right? It's gonna be stressful. It's gonna be like, it's gonna upset you, right? Because it's kind of, not that nice. But imagine as an INFP, if you recognize what your buttons are, like what are the things that motivate you, what are the things that get you energy, what are the things that, make you feel good. Like here, what I would do is, for example, imagine compliments. What kind of compliments would you like to hear? What kind of things would you like to be complimented for? What kind of things would make you feel appreciated? What things do you want to hear a thank you for? Like, if you practice giving yourself thanks, just tell yourself, thank you for, thinking outside the box. Thank you for being so creative. Thank you for being so empathetic. Thank you for being so considerate. Thank you for having such attention to detail and nuance. Thank you for, being able to spot this really important issue that nobody else saw because they were, busy. Tell yourself thank you for different things, and notice how those thank yous make you feel. What kind of things make you feel good, and what kind of things are kind of neutral or kind of, yeah, thanks, no problem, And here, spot what your motivators are, because everyone has their own set of motivators and energizers. And these are these kind of buzzwords that, hijack your brain, right? Imagine, for example, you're out on a walk, If you had no motivators at all, you'd be on the most boring walk of your life, right? Because everything would look the same. There would be nothing that interests you. But if you loved bunnies and you saw a bunny, you'd be like, oh my God, a bunny, right? And that's what motivators are. Those are the things that channel and hijack your attention and get you to do something. So yeah, that's how you motivate yourself as an INFP. Thank you so much for watching. And by the way, thank you all for watching to the end of this video. The truth is, I don't say this a lot, but I started this channel very recently, and I've already seen it get so much views, so many likes, so many subscribers, and so much appreciation. And it makes me so happy to see that you all resonate with what I have to say, because I care about this channel, and I care about the kind of videos I make here. These are the kind of videos I love to make, because they talk about real topics and real advice. And the truth is, honestly, any personality type watching this video would benefit from it, I hope, because human advice is usually good advice, When people can speak honestly about how they feel, about what they care about, what they like, and what kind of things that make them happy, they're going to say things that other people are going to resonate with, regardless of their personality. So, in a way, I started this channel for INFPs, but the truth is anyone could watch them, right? And yeah, so regardless of who you are, thank you for watching it, and I appreciate you for, appreciating me.